Startup people. There you go. All right. What's going on? Yes, we are Leslie Chambers Kaiju Reviews. Yes. This is the my 5th live stream, and this is a conversation with X Plus collectors, part 4. Yes. The last time I was here, I had. We all know him. We all love him. Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself, Richard Eso. And now he's back. Yes, Mr. Fresh Vinyl is back, along with my great friend, Eric Arrington, my great friend from Summit Kaiju, the visionary behind Summit Kaiju, Jeremy Souls, and, of course, Kaiju photographer extraordinaire, David Eric Dopko. And, yes, I want to give a huge shout-out to John Ruffin. He was originally going to be here, but he had commitments that he had to deal with, so he won't be making it on the stream, unfortunately. But we're gonna hold it down for you, John Ruffin. Maybe you can make the next live stream. So in this live stream, basically, we're gonna just talk about everything X Plus, what we have gotten, what are we looking forward to, future releases, the bombshell news that we got just this week with the new King Ghidorah and other things, and we're gonna just talk about all that stuff. Since mostly y'all know about me, we're going to go right through my guests first. We're going to start with Eric, then we're going to go with Jeremy, then we're going to go with Rich, then we're going to go with David. So my first question to y'all, I guess, would be, how has it been being an X Plus collector this year alone? Eric?
It's been great, man. I mean, I came to a point where I'm picking and choosing now. A lot of things I'm not on board with. I'm running out of room, and I'll just leave it at that. But it's been great.
Jeremy, how's it been for you?
It's been pretty fun for the most part, I feel like. There are a few releases, though, I feel like I'm probably going to skip, like the Ebra, because I've already had one, and the little water piece really isn't enough to really persuade me to buy more. So, it is to the point where you kind of have to start thinking about what you really want and what's important.
It's harder.
And that's it.
All right, Rich. You're up, my man.
How has the year of X Plus collecting been going? Ridiculous. That actually kind of hurt. But I guess that's kind of a reflection on our wallets for most of us, some of us. But it's been nuts. Every year it just seems like X Plus just keeps unloading more and more every year. And I'm at the point where I'm starting to be selective as well. Like we talked on your last live stream. What? But it's been good. It's been fun, and the fun is still rolling.
All right, David, your turn, sir.
So this year's been kind of a mixed bag for me. I'm like everyone else. I'm at the point in my collecting journey where my space is pretty much at maximum. I'm maxed out for space, in other words. But this year did see some pretty incredible releases. We finally got a Frankenstein,
Oh, yeah.
We got, which I've been wanting, since X Plus started this whole thing. We got the favorite sculpture line, 1962, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
As far as the future goes, I'm in the same boat with the rest of you. It's like, I have to be super selective on what I buy just because of the sheer volume of things that are coming at us. And, my space is really at max right now. So yeah, it's definitely, I'm sort of on the fence about how I feel about it.
Yeah, me too. It's getting to the point. Like I mentioned in the last live stream, the one good thing that I would say about all these releases coming out is the fact that it makes me prioritize what I really want versus what I really like. I think that because there's so much stuff coming out, it gives collectors an opportunity to be smarter with their money, be smarter as collectors. And like I mentioned before we came live, that all of us together, we are some of the most avid and loyal X Plus supporters that you will ever find. But even us, you know, will say that it's starting to get to the point where it's starting to be a little bit much. It's still fun. You know what I'm saying? It's still fun. But my whole thing is, my philosophy nowadays, when I want to, you know, tell new collectors, it's like, yes, this stuff is fun. Yes, these figures are amazing. But now it's get to the point, because they're oversaturating the market with stuff, you ain't got to get everything just because it has X Plus name on it. So I hope through this live stream we can teach folks to be just a little bit more selective and just prioritize, be smarter with your money. You know what I mean? Because these figures are not going to go away anytime soon. So it's best to be, it's fun to be a collector, it really is, but it's better to be a smarter one.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what has been your favorite purchase for us X Plus so far this year? And of course, I'm gonna go first. So I'm just gonna show mine. This is mine. this is mine. So you already knew that. So Eric, what's been your favorite X Plus purchase so far?
I gotta think about it. I think let me see. I don't know, man. I gotta say King Kong. I'm sorry. I gotta say King Kong. Yeah.
You know what?
On that for a good while, but I really have to go through everything and just look, man. I do, to be honest with you. I can't remember what the hell came out.
Right, but as far as now,
man, I'll be honest with you, I don't. I just don't fucking remember, bro.
Before as right now, King Kong is your favorite.
I don't remember like what came out this year, last year. I could pick out a few things, but so far, the first thing coming to my mind is well, like Dave said, did Frankenstein came out, right?
He did.
Frankenstein, King Kong.
I hate everything. I don't know where anything is.
Damn, I don't know, but I would say King Kong just to end that convo.
And you know what? That's what I was talking about earlier, because Mr. Fresh Vinyl over there said earlier on the group that he was debating whether he was going to get this or not, or whether should he wait and get like an older version of Kong that's going to face Godzilla in 2020. And let me just say this on behalf, because I got it in my hand, Rich, I know you're not a Kong fan. I know that. There's a few things I know about you, like Godzilla vs. Megalon was your first movie. I know King Kong Escapes is not one of your favorite movies, but seriously, this figure is amazing. It really is. The guy who sculpted this was the same guy that sculpted the gigantic GMK.
Kaibitsuwa.
And the so this thing is amazing. You know what I'm saying? I can't speak too much about it, and it's going to be dropping in people's hands starting this week, I believe. For those who didn't order this from Japan, but yeah, if you're a Kong fan, this guy is for you. So that's all I got to say about that. Jeremy, your favorite purchase this year so far?
No, I gotta clarify. Is that what we have in our possession or what we've ordered?
You know what? I would say let's restrict it to stuff that's been released just this year, 2018, because there have been a lot of stuff. I'm sure we got stuff that was released in 2018. But as far as like stuff that's been released this year, and to run off the top of my head, Gigantic Ultra 7, the GMK Baragon Mothra set, Death Ghidorah, the new Freight Sculptors line GMK Godzilla, Anime Godzilla, 25 centimeter Gargantuas, Mogera, the Rodan 56, the Favorite Sculptors line 62, the Sakai Shin, Jet Jaguar, Space Godzilla, and Little Godzilla set. That's all I can really. Gigantic 64. Man, what the hell was I thinking?
And
what in the world?
And Frankenstein.
And Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Those are the ones I can think of on the top of my head. Oh, and the RMC Gamera that came out. So,
yeah, that's right.
So just pick one.
I would have to say it's the Favorite Sculptors line 62, and I happened to get a hold of the. I think it was there's a gigantic 62 with the glowing jaw that I got a hold of for Tokyo Con, I believe. I like that thing too because of the Aurora packaging. The packaging design on it's so rad. So, and not only that, I think not X Plus, the Rotokong that David painted for me. That thing is pretty sweet. And that's it.
All right, Rich, it's your turn. You got to pick one, man.
All right,
you can't skip.
While listening to everybody's answers here, this is the problem. Problem one, when you have to look around and try to find what you're thinking about, you can't find what it is, you have too much shit. Problem two, when you have to look around, try to find what you're looking for, X Plus is releasing too much shit. Okay, so you just rattled off that list. I don't know. I'm gonna pick something that's right off my table here. That is some of my recent purchases because those are the only things that I could think of that popped out of my head as to what did I just get. Brendan here, he helped me, and then we were like, So I'm gonna say that the 25 centimeter squishy soft version crawling Hedra is a freaking awesome release because I didn't think I was going to enjoy this figure. I was originally thinking I probably shouldn't get it, don't need it, but I ended up getting him, and it's awesome. There's a lot of character being projected out of this figure, so really, really awesome. And then I'm going to go with another one here, the Defo Real Rick 84. David, your pictures were just beautiful. Really, really, really love this figure. Again, it just projects a lot of character coming out of it just from his eyes, his fangs, and this is his dang cuteness, So these two really just pop out because I set my expectations low for them, and I'm not a completionist with the Defo Real line, so I'm only going for ones that really, really are must-haves. But like you guys said, it's just so much stuff. So much. Well, but I like them all. You got to realize that with all the figures that have come out so far this year, that is enough to consider you have an X Plus collection.
No shit.
With just this year's releases.
Absolutely.
Now, I would say to add on to Rich's point, when you don't have time to enjoy the ones that you've bought, that's kind of a problem, right? Like you don't have time because they just keep coming out, and you don't really let it set in and enjoy each one. I think that's part of my issue this year.
Yeah, I'm going to fly to Osaka, and I'm going to tell G, I'm like, yo, I'm going to put him in a headlock. I'm like, listen, slow down. He's got to do slow down. I'm going to get old Joe Pesci on his ass.
All right, David, it's your turn. What's been your favorite X Plus figure acquisition of the year 2018?
So let me ask you guys. I can't even remember. Did the 54 Sakai come out this year?
Yeah, I think so.
It sure did. Sure did. It came out in February. It sure did.
I can't do one. I got to do a top three. Okay, ready? Frankenstein, number one, because I've wanted that figure, representation of that figure forever. Number two is going to have to be the Sakai 54, just because of the sheer awesomeness of it. I don't think I need any other 54s in my life because that one's so good. And I got to go with Leslie. You're gonna be pretty stoked when I say this. The third thing I love is the 64. I changed my tune, man. I changed it.
You did good.
I got my shit together. And I did a little bit of resculpting of the jaw situation, and now it turned into one of my favorite figures. So yeah, man, I'm pretty stoked with that now. One thing I do want to say is relating to what we talked about before, being selective. I passed on the Sakai Shin Godzilla because I thought, it looks okay. I didn't really think it was going to be as awesome as it was. And then I saw photos of people. I think I saw Rich's and a couple other people who were posting them, and yours, I believe. I'm like, damn, this thing is pretty sweet. So I went back and I was able to get one after the fact. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with now. Do I want to do it, or do I want to wait and see how great it is? Because I'm at the point now where it has to be great for me to find a space for it in this collection. And I know we could probably talk about this later, about how we're going to deal with space, right? I think that's a really interesting topic. I'm really going to try to implement my 1 in 1 out rule, which so far has, been sort of working, but, I also love everything I have now. So that's becoming a problem too. But yeah, it's been a great year. And I think X Plus is really upping their game on the detail on some of these figures. Like Rich said, the Defo Real 84 completely took me by surprise. I mean, that thing is sweet. It's sweet. It's adorable. And I think that's going to be my holiday photo Godzilla this year. So look for that coming soon too.
Nice.
So yeah, that's about all I got to say about that at the moment.
David, I was going to say you did a really great job on fixing the mouth on that 64.
Oh yeah, thanks.
I think it's incredible, man.
Yeah, it was kind of scary to like rip it out and cut pieces and put it back together, but I underestimated my skills, and I was really happy with the way it came out. So yeah, man, I love that piece now, and I'm so glad I didn't sell it. Thank you, everyone who told me don't sell it. You'll regret it, because I didn't, and I'm happy. So yeah.
Sweet.
Guess what? We have James Hartman here in the in the chat room. Yeah, what's up, James? First off, let me say hey to everybody. Varzilla, Super Gador, Ethan Stone, Clonezilla Reviews, Kaiju Basement, Tony C, everybody, Liam Foley, Gojira 851. Thank y'all so much for being in the chat. And yes, if you have any questions, please post them and we'll get to as many as we can. Thank you so much for joining the discussion. The discussion is only going for like 10 minutes, and I'm already having such a blast. But to move on to the topic that David just talked about, let's talk about figures that we have passed on. I'll go first.
Leslie, can I say one thing before you go into another topic? This is for David and Rich.
Okay, go for it.
I want to know, how in the hell do you guys maintain on collecting? Well, how do you have the room, unless you have two rooms, for Marmot and X Plus? How is that possible? I'm looking at all the Marmots behind you, Dave and Rich. I know you have Marmots. How do you guys maintain? I mean, that right there, I don't even see an X Plus. Rich, I see your X Pluses, but I know you have Marmots just as many as Dave does. How do you guys maintain?
Dave probably has more than me, but Dave, go ahead.
Well, Rich definitely has me beat on the X Plus. I'm very, very selective, and I always have been with my X Plus. The only thing I was a completist on was the X Plus Ultraman series. I really wanted to get every single figure in that series, which is behind me somewhere on one of the shelves. But yeah, my X Plus stuff is actually on the other side of the room. I'm afraid if I switch this iPad, you're not going to be able to hear me. So just believe me, they're behind you. They're behind on the other side. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm actually completely at capacity. I have no more room. I have my gigantic Shin on the floor.
Yeah,
he's on the floor. I've got no more room. Every inch of my room is completely full. So I have to do 1 in, 1 out, or right. I have to move it into the garage. I don't have a separate room. I have one room, and there's a little bit of overflow in the garage. That's usually the model kits I'm working on at the moment. But the closet is full of stuff too. But I'm completely at capacity. So don't think that I'm getting everything. I'm getting like probably less than everybody here. And the way I do it too, as far as, a lot of people ask about the money situation. What I do, and I've had this for a couple of years now, I have a PayPal account dedicated to my toy buying. And I rarely add to it from my other account. It's basically stuff that I've sold, and I recycle that money to get stuff that I really want. So every once in a while it gets a little bit low, but then I'll have to sell something else. I always keep about $400 or $500 in that account. So, and it's solely from things that I've sold. And now, again, it's becoming a problem because I love everything I have now, almost everything I have. So I really have to think hard about a piece. Do I love this? Does it warrant having a place in my collection? So So yeah, I'm really, it's a conundrum for me for sure. I don't know how I'm going to proceed. Like I do know I'm not going to get the 89 because I have no more room for gigantics, and I don't absolutely love the sculpt. So anyway, that's my deal. Rich, now you can say a little bit more about this too.
Yep. I mean, I kind of hit all the same points that David said. While I am very, what's the word I'm looking for? Hardcore collecting with X Plus, as I've been for the past almost 6 years now that it's been, that I think about it. I'm starting to be a little selective on some things.
Right.
But yes, I do collect marmots, toy graphs, some Gigabrains, M1s, Hot Toys that I'm dabbling in, which is Star Wars stuff. I actually have behind me. Yeah, I'm just doing the bad guys. Yeah. Just the bad guys, the main baddies. But I have 2 Detolfs behind me. I'm not even going to bother. You just believe me, they're there, like David said. But that's not everything. I have, and actually, I don't even have my gigantic 64 in here. He's in my bedroom on top of my dresser. I have I have my Bandai collection, the rest of my Marmots, the rest of my M1, my SH Monster Arts that I have packed still. And if you guys remember, I had my prior setup, I had my Ultraman X Plus figures displayed on 2 of these shelves here, these two shelf spaces. Those are packed up right now, and I'm still tapped on space from what came out since I've adjusted the collection around. So I have a spot that is just over here next to the window that I could put another shelf, but then I'm going to go into the extremes of blocking windows for toys. And I don't know, like I like windows, I like light. Us as Earthlings, we need light to grow strong and be tall and everything. I'm not getting any taller, but I don't know if I want to block a window, but I have the room for another shelf. And I really don't want to get another shelf because it's just like ludicrous. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
what?
Well,
it's ridiculous.
I already blocked a window. That ship has sailed for me.
All right, then fuck it. I'm getting another shelf.
No.
It's a good thing because the sun fucking bleaches these figures out anyway. So what good is it?
Yeah.
I was just getting ready to ask that.
For myself, but
yeah. So being that those are, I guess we've addressed the problems. It's how do we do it? I don't know. We just make it work, and it's hard. It's tough. Like my Detolfs, I need 2 more of those because I've got just figures packed in there, and as me and Brendan were talking about, we can't really appreciate them that's in there because they're all blocked on top of each other. Yeah. So, and not to mention I got Emperor Palpatine and 2 Royal Guards coming soon too, so I gotta have a spot for them. Plus the shit that I have on top of the Detolfs. So it's collector's problems.
It's a conundrum, and it's like you can see the shelves are saturated. You can't even really see some of the figures that are behind. I mean, I actually thinned it out, believe it or not. But, and this is sort of, I'm going to say one more thing about this. I really am trying to limit my Marmot and M1 and Hot Toys figures to stuff that I really, really, really love. Anything that's like a double or another glow. I've got enough glowies. I have no more room on my glowy shelf. I know. Look, he doesn't believe me. Brendan does not believe me. You know what? I don't believe me either, but I'm saying it anyway.
How does that thing look at nighttime?
What's that?
How does that look at nighttime with them glowing like that?
It's a glowing masterpiece of awesomeness.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's Eric, it's tough, and I have no more room.
I see, man. I look like a football stadium behind you.
But yeah, it's something. I've never seen a football stadium in person, but I take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm talking about the stands. You got people in the crowd.
Oh yeah, they're crowded.
That's hilarious.
And there's no one selling popcorn and peanuts in my collection room either. So whatever.
Yeah, hey, it's funny. In the comment section, James Hartman said, "Can someone censor David? His language is offensive." But that right there. But that right there is bullshit. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, James. Bullshit.
Hey James, I'm finding you offensive. Okay. All
I
right.
love James's comments. Are the best. I get a kick out of them.
I'm so glad I can't see the comments because I didn't curse once, did I?
Fuck no.
I didn't even say I'm happy as a
What did I say?
I mean, if you say James, maybe it's offensive. James.
Offensive.
Oh,
Guido Cop.
I'll fix him later.
Didn't that guy lose at arm wrestling?
I don't know. To Jessica Etchels, maybe.
He did.
I don't know.
All right, so let's talk about stuff we have passed on this year. For me personally, I'm just gonna skim through mine. The stuff that I didn't get, and I'm perfectly fine without getting. The crawling Hedra, the anime Godzilla I'm not really feeling that design. Haven't really seen the movies yet. Yeah, I guess that means I'm not a real Godzilla fan. But yeah, I know, Rich. I know I'm deplorable. What else? The new 54, the 25mm 54, didn't really wasn't really feeling that. So those are the ones that I passed. You know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. Eric, you're next, bro.
Let me see. I passed on the 54. I passed on the Yuji Sakai Shin. And the anime Godzilla so far. This year alone. That's it. Everything else that's up and coming, I'm on board with. If you want me to go there, Leslie, did you want me to go there yet?
Actually, let's go through what everybody else passed on, and then we'll come back to that.
Okay.
Is that all you passed this year so far?
Yeah, so far I think it was 3 figures.
All right, Jeremy. How about you? What have you passed on?
Frankenstein, all the Ultraman stuff, Gamera, the Mothra set that came out. I know that if I get myself into collecting other movie lines, it's going to be disastrous. So for me, I want to stick to Godzilla, even though technically I kind of veered off and got the Death Ghidorah, but I kind of feel like it's somewhat related to it, Godzilla. But I might even skip out on the 54 or the 64 that's coming out. Apologize. Because I've already got 3 or 4 of them, and I just don't know if I want another one. Kind of on the fence about that. I bought the Jet Jaguar, but I wasn't all that excited about it, to be honest.
Okay. Rich, what about you? I know you passed on the Varan, right? And you didn't get the Gamera. But what else did you pass on this year?
Like I said earlier, I'm being selective with the Defo Reel, so I passed on the Anime Goji, the 54 Goji, the GMK Goji from the Defo Reel lines. Just don't need. I mean, the good thing is they're only like $60 a pop, so they're not expensive. But it's just I don't need them. I passed on the Varan, even though the Rick statue was really, really awesome, but I've only seen Varan, I think, like twice, so and I already have the 25cm crawling Varan, so I don't really need another one, especially because the favorite sculptors line, those figures clock in really around 27, 28 centimeters. So I'd be interested to see anybody that picked up the new favorite sculptors line Varan and compare it, if they have it, to the 25cm crawling Varan, because it's not going to be much of a big size difference. And me personally, I like the original 25cm crawling Varan better. Just, again, my opinion. So I passed on that. What else did I pass? Yeah, that's it. That's everything that's at least been released that I've passed on that I can think of to this moment.
He'll review it because I picked it up.
Which one? Oh, the Varan.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come over and review it with me.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm reviewing the favorite sculptors line Varan anyways, even though it's not mine. Won't be the first time I've reviewed somebody else's figure. And I will gladly take anybody's figures out there. If I don't have it and you want me to review it, just send it to me, to Mr. Fresh Vinyl at 1-800-FRESH Vinyl headquarters. I'll send it back, I promise.
Such a cat.
Yeah.
All right, David. What have you passed on this year, sir?
Man, what didn't I pass on? I passed on a lot of stuff. I passed on the anime Godzilla. I passed on all the Gamera stuff. I passed on the new Mothra. I passed on. Help me out. What did I pass on? I passed
Gamera.
I passed on the Gamera. I passed on Jet Jaguar. I passed on.
Did you get Mogera?
Which one?
Did you get Mogera?
Passed on Mogera. You know, I'm really not big on the Heisei figures unless it's a Godzilla, which is good. I'm glad of that. At least I can rule those out. And yeah, I mean, I passed on so much. I mean, the list of what I didn't pass on is a lot shorter than what I did pass on. So, but I am getting the Varan favorite sculptor line because I want the Baradagi statue. That's my real motivation. I agree with Rich. It's going to be too similar to the one that's already released, but I may actually sell the Varan itself and I'll keep the statue. You know, that's my thinking. Unless it's really, really awesome. But yeah, I mean, I'm at the point now where I have to pass on a lot of stuff. And like I said, I initially passed on the Sakai Shin Godzilla, but then I saw how awesome it looked, and then I had to sort of regroup and find one. And I really thank John Stanowski for selling me his extra one because he actually double dipped, and I got the one that he did. I got the standard, which is perfectly fine for me. But yeah, I mean, so much, and but like you guys alluded to before, like I also do Marmot, M1, other stuff too. So it's not like there's not other things coming in. So yeah, it's a whole lot of stuff actually I passed on.
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody have anything that they want to add before we move on to the next topic? The next topic is going to be current stuff that's coming out right now, stuff that we're getting in the next like week or so. Anybody want to talk about anything about what we passed on before we move on?
I mean, is there anything people regret passing on?
That's a good one. That's a question that we don't really get asked all that often.
You know
Not
what?
Me, no.
You know what? Thinking about it now, no, not the only thing that I can possibly think of that. I tell you what, I do it in a reverse. I wish I couldn't. I wish I didn't get Mogera in the Rick. I wish I'd have got the standard because the Rick version with the light ups, they're not what I wanted it to be. And plus, you gotta like take like a little knife tool to get the thing out in his chest. So if I would have known better, I would have went standing on that one. And I know that's kind of like something you don't really normally hear, where if people prefer standards over the Rick, but that's the Mogera Rick feature is not really anything to be excited over. So if I had to go back and like redo that one or redo one, I would redo that. But everything else, I've been satisfied with what I've gotten this year so far.
Cool.
I would say the only thing I regret is the Shin, because after I saw Rich's and Leslie's video, I was like, wow. I think me personally, I think besides, well, I have the Rick Gigantic. That's in the class by itself. But as far as all the other Shins, the 30 or 25, I would say that one is the best one. The one
most definitely. And like I regretted passing on it, and I actually got one.
You did?
So I have it now, but I did regret passing on that when I saw it. And the only thing that maybe I regret passing on is this 54 Godzilla, which I didn't want the Godzilla. I wanted the Serizawa. I mean, I wanted the Oxygen Destroyer. Yeah, there he's got it. Yep.
This is the only reason, the main reason why I went for this, because this is like the only second one in existence other than the Toygraph one.
That's it.
Unless there's maybe like a
there's a resin model kit.
Yeah, there's a resin model kit, or maybe Cast has one or something, but because the 54, his face, and I argue with Mr. Sam West out there, if he's watching, he's probably busy scratching his ass or something. But, you know, the face is off from some angles. From some angles, it looks perfect, but from some, it looks off. It just looks a little flat where the eyebrows and the snout meet each other. You know, it looks like it should be chunkier. And that's where I think the 54 Yuji Sakai nailed the detail. Nailed it.
I wish they would have had Serizawa with that figure.
Yeah, that would have been and you know what's funny? I think I said it on my review that they should have did this.
I think you did. And we don't need any more BS light up dorsal plates. Seriously.
Burnt out idea.
I mean, it's good. It was great the first 9 times they did it, but I love those quirky little obscure figures, and I'm saying Rich knows this, and I think Leslie does too. I've been praying that X Plus decides at some point to release a box set of all the little Rick extras. How cool would that be? And James, I'm going to curse again. How fucking cool would that be?
You know what? That's funny because I'm behind that idea, but also, you know what? The 54, that example of people going for the 25 centimeter 54 just for the Serizawa isn't the only thing that S Plus has done, where a lot of people went with the Rick just to get the mini Rick feature. And to come to mind, this. I know a lot of folks wasn't really feeling Space Godzilla, but they were trying to get this.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love that little thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So apparently Little Godzilla doesn't have I guess the bad reputation that Minya has. But I know a couple people, they were content with this and they were trying to sell the Space Godzilla, which in my opinion, I think it's better just to keep it, you know what I'm saying? Because that Space Godzilla is really nice. I prefer the 30 centimeter over the 25. It's the thing. I prefer the overall sheer size and sculpt of the 30. But the paint job, I got to give it to the 25 on that one, you know? But back to the point, they originally, a lot of folks were really wanting to get this guy. And I'm glad that S Plus is going back to this, minifigures, which is why I'm looking forward to this next topic we're going to talk about, about the current stuff that we're going to be getting. And speaking of that,
yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, let's just talk about the current stuff that we're getting right now and stuff that we're looking forward to. Let me start. I brought them up earlier, but I got to bring them up again. Kong. Y'all have no idea. I ain't talking about my fellow co-hosts here, but I'm talking about everybody in the chat room. Y'all have no idea how important this release is. Even though it's not the classic Toho one, even though it's not the beloved 33 version, even though it's not, the oversized gorilla with the fractured jaw face of 2005. This right here is amazing. It really is. Whether you like Kong or not, this is such an amazing piece. Now, unfortunately, according to what G said in that awesome Kaiju Cast interview earlier this year, he sounded like he wasn't too optimistic that they can get the Toho Kong, because I know Steve Savagill out there in Vegas. I'm sure David will probably know more about this, about the whole wonky situation about who owns their own Kong. But he wasn't too optimistic. G, I was talking about. Then that does not necessarily mean that we won't get, Toho Kong from X Plus at some point. But this is a step in the right direction. It really is. So if you pre-ordered this guy from the Vampire Robots or from Flossie's, you're going to be in for a treat because this thing is awesome. So with that being said, who here in the group is getting the X Plus X Plus Kong Skull Island figure? Whether you getting the deluxe version or the standard version? Eric, go first.
Both. Both. I double dipped on that one.
Wow. Okay.
I had to. Both.
Right on.
I see you, Jeremy.
All right. Well, I wasn't sure if you're done talking, so I was going to let you finish.
I'm done.
I ordered one from Flossie's, and I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm patiently waiting, I guess you'd say. Yep. And I got the deluxe one with the airplane. Yep.
Wait a second, I have a question. This figure been out for a good while. You guys didn't receive it yet?
So I ordered mine through Flossie's, which has to go through Diamond Distributors, and then to Flossie's, and then to us.
Oh, okay. All right.
So with all the other ones coming out, I don't feel like I'm missing out by any means. I am excited, but patience is the virtue.
Right.
All right, Rich. Have we convinced you, sir, to go for the big monkey?
No. I like it. It looks like a great figure. Like I said earlier, I don't know if I should just hold out for a 2020 Kong, not with Barbara Walters. But sorry. Well, you ever used to watch TGIF, and while I watched TGIF in the 90s, like after Full House, 2020 with Barbara Walters. Anyway, moving on to X Plus Fresh Vinyl. That figure is going to be easily to get one way or another, I believe, because the way that figures just come and go through the X Plus group, you know, if I want one, I will just instill some patience after the initial run, and I'll snatch one up, you know, when somebody's selling one, because I know they're going to pop up for sure. And if not, then they'll do one for Godzilla versus Kong, without a doubt. You know, they're going to do one for the new Godzilla for King of the Monsters, because that design already has massive updates, especially with the dorsal plates that I'm really excited for, honestly. Sorry, David. But so I'm going to hold out for now.
To Rich's point, to Rich's point, that just shows like the shift in culture with collecting, because at one time you really didn't want to skip out a lot because they were hard to find, but now they're just everywhere. So it's like the patience thing is a real important thing to have.
That's true. Yeah. David, what about you? Are you going for Kong?
You know what? I actually love that Kong. It's a great design. The figure looks fantastic, and John Stanowski's photos are just so awesome. But for me, it's an easy pass because it doesn't make the cut for something that's going to go with my collection. I'm basically a show man, and it's definitely an easy pass. I can, and like Rich said, it's probably going to be available like pretty readily, even in comic stores, because of the what Star Ace, whoever's making it. It's going to be around a lot, but easy pass for me. I do like it, but it's not going to make it in my collection.
Quick question, David. I know that the 2014 Godzilla is
his favorite. It's his favorite.
Godzilla to you is what the anime Godzilla is to me. So I guess with that being said, are you hoping that Kong beats the holy hell out of Godzilla come 2020?
I'm just hoping that I can get through all this hype for the next couple of years without killing myself. You guys are all like so excited. I'm not going to rain on your parades. I'm happy that you're all excited. Honestly, I could care less. I could give a rat's ass. I don't care.
Are you going to go see the movie, David? I've been wondering this. Are you going to go watch it at least?
I'm probably going to wait till it comes on cable, because
he said he wanted to see Mothra, so you got to go.
You know, we'll see. I'm really, you know, it's one of the biggest letdowns aside from the Phantom Menace in my cinema going journey. Like, I am so disappointed, but I'm happy that you're all stoked, and you know, yeah. So and a good thing, I don't have to buy a single thing from that whole universe, which is really helpful to me. So I'm looking at it in a positive light. So yeah, it's going to be excruciating for the next couple of years with all of the hype, I got to say. So, but anyway, enjoy, everybody.
James says,
you know what, and you know what? That's the thing. I don't fault David for that, because he has been really outspoken when it comes to the 2014 Godzilla. Even back then when the movie came out, and a lot of folks were happy about, you know, finally a new Godzilla movie coming out. David, he wasn't the only one, but David was very outspoken about he wasn't feeling the design. And I know in our hobby, if you say anything bad about somebody, particularly Godzilla, sometimes they circle the wagons and they come for you. But
and they did.
David has been right by saying that you're not a true Godzilla fan, you're this, you're that, or if you didn't like Shin Godzilla, if you like 2014 over Shin Godzilla, just this manufactured beef, which is absolutely stupid. But I understand, because when the anime Godzilla came out, I felt the same way. I wouldn't say I hate it. It's just not enough there for me to want to try and track it down, even though I can through Netflix and stuff like that. And once again, I'm like David. If you like the anime Godzilla, the movies, the design, hey, that's good for you. But for me personally, it hasn't really done anything for me. I know at some point I will eventually see it. Like David, he's going to wait until it comes out on cable in 2045 when the movie comes out. You know, me, the anime Godzilla is like in the same boat. If it comes out on TV and I happen to be home and there's nothing else on TV, I may just sit there and watch it. I mean, it just doesn't do enough. It doesn't do it for me. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
And you know what? I'm gonna leave this on a positive note. The fact that this new universe is coming and that it's so popular and it's bringing all kinds of new fans into the genre, I think it's awesome, because it's shedding light on the old movies and the old things that I love. So it's inevitably breathing life into the genre, which is ultimately always a good thing for collectors. So that is a super positive aspect about this new universe, and we'll see. You know, we'll see how it goes.
I would agree with that.
All right, moving on. Who got this guy? Who got this? So let's talk about it. What do you think? Do you like it? You love it? Me, I love it. It's my favorite Death for Real, even though I only got 2. But I'm getting the GMK. I'm getting the 62. I'm getting the 64. So far, the only one I got is Shin, the 4th form of Shin, the mouth closed one, the one that looks like Stewie from Family Guy. But this guy is amazing. Had to go Rick on this one. This is such an iconic piece to illustrate an iconic moment from the movie, you know, where he's feeding and stuff like that. So, yes, I don't think people really understand how awesome this piece is. You know, kind of like what Rich said with the Hedra. This thing is amazing, and it blew my mind. So, for a few seconds, what are your thoughts about that? Eric, go first.
I'm not into D4Ls. I don't, you know, it don't really interest me. The only thing that I can say upcoming that did interest me was if they come out with the Hedra that was debuted, I think I might purchase that. But otherwise, I'm not really into D4Ls. So if they do villains, maybe 1 or 2 here and there. But I'm not a big fan of it.
So,
all right, Jeremy, how about you? Because I remember you got 2 of them, right? You got the standard and the Rick, right?
I got 2 Rick ones, but I'm gonna give one to my son for his birthday or for Christmas. So that's why I bought 2 of them.
That right there is a true man. That right there is a father. That right there is a true man right there. That right there.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, he's been getting a little more into Godzilla with me. Like today, we were watching Godzilla 1974, and he was laughing when Godzilla was destroying the building. So I guess that's a good sign. But for me, the Death for Real figures, I enjoy a lot. Actually, maybe I just like the stylization of them. But 64 was cool. I enjoyed it. I still need to get some pictures put up of it. But yeah. That thing is awesome, and I love that particular design of Godzilla with the ears and the 3 toes. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at there. So, yep. I guess Rich is next.
Yes.
Rich, you next. You got it, right?
Sure. Okay, so I went Rick. Death definitely had to go, Rick, with the reactor because I think it's just a bit more unique because there's nothing like this that I have, especially X Plus or anything in my collection from the way this looks. Having already a standard 25 centimeter 84 and 30 centimeter 84, this just gives it a little bit more oomph. I will say, David, you probably will say this, as to why you went standard. After looking at this closely, yes, because I haven't done my review yet, I was like, maybe I could take it off. And I realized you can't because the reactor, it's actually molded into his chest. So if I even tried to pry it off, there would probably be the gap of just vinyl doesn't look like Godzilla's skin at all. It just looks like something's wrong, like an alien chest burster or something. But yeah, so it's fixed there. You can't take it off. It's awesome. I really love the way the eyes look because he's got his blood vessels popping, much like on the other 30 centimeters, much like it was on the suit. So that looks really, really good. And the fangs, because I'm a big 64 fan, I feel like the fangs give off a little bit more expression to Godzilla. So like the 64, the 84 here, and on this figure look really, really awesome.
I want to say one thing. I wish that they would have made that magnetically attachable. If they would have just made like a magnet on the hands and inside of the little reactor, that would have been so awesome.
I go one step further. I wish they could have done what they did with the anime. I'm gonna say something positive about the anime Godzilla guys. That's this. The Death Row anime, the red one came with, didn't it come with blue dorsal plates? A lot of dorsal plates. Can you imagine they would have put blue dorsal plates in this one? Because that's what happened in the film. He was hugging the reactor and his dorsal plate started illuminating blue. That would have been great.
Good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rich is right. He nailed it. Like I got the standard because I wanted a removable reactor, and I think it, as cool as it is and as unique as it is, it distracts from the figure, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. And I think you can put him in more situations to photograph without the reactor in it. So that's where my mind was going. Yeah, it's a great figure, and I'm not sold on all of the Defo reels, but I did score a 1954 from the Godzilla store from Japan on the base. So that's going to be my second Defo reel, which should be coming, in a week or so. But yeah, so I got that one, and then this is my only other one, and pleasantly surprised, really, really great. It's like, scary cute, evil cute, which is always a good combination. So yeah, no, I'm so pleasantly surprised with this little guy, and yeah, he's definitely gonna have a great place in my collection, a place of honor.
Now, David, would you say that's your favorite 84 from X Plus so far?
I would absolutely say that, and I wish, which is a great point, I wish that they could do a head sculpt like this on a standard size figure, because they nailed, like, the eyes, like Rich said, the eyes, and just the detail. Imagine this on a 30 centimeter 84. I mean, it would be just perfect. So who knows? Maybe down the road we'll see something like that. But for now, it is really my favorite X Plus 84. Yes, indeed, for sure.
If I could make a suggestion, as far as like 84, because in my opinion, I said this numerous times, and yes, the people who love 84 in the chat room, y'all gonna even love me more when I say this again. I think the 84 is one of the most overlooked Godzilla designs ever. When it comes to the Heisei, a lot of people gravitate towards the 89 or the 91 or the Burning Godzilla, because those are the ones that kind of stick out. Sometimes I think the 84 kind of gets lost in the shuffle. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I love that design and I love that movie. And this proves to me that, especially with the detail on the sculpt of his head, like his head is really like the main selling point. Actually, his eyes. Actually, his whole head and his eyes. Like, forget about the reactor and his dorsal plate, his tail. When you get this figure, aside from his fangs, look at his eyes and the overall head sculpt. This is stunning. This is absolutely gorgeous. And it makes me want to see other 84 pieces. And honestly, if I can make a suggestion, because we have a few more lines now that they can do 84 pieces in. If we're up to me, I would definitely bring out a Sakai 84, a 30 centimeter Sakai 84. And I will also do one or two things from the favorite sculptors line, either the 30 centimeter Monster Maker 2884 or the one that just recently came out, the one of the Cybot. And that's another thing. I don't know why the Cybot doesn't get a lot of love like the regular suit does. In my opinion, that right there, if you can see him right there, that I love that. That's like one of my most favorite posters, and it's not of the suit, obviously, but it's the Cybot. And I would love to see more, figures of the Cybot itself. The only one that comes close to it is really like the 25 centimeter Godzilla from X Plus that has shades of the Cybot in it, but we don't have a full figure of the Cybot just yet. But I hope the X Plus does tackle that design, because I like the design, and they were to make one, I would definitely go after it.
And one more point about this guy. For those people who haven't got this yet or thinking about getting it, it's a really small footprint in your collection. It doesn't take up much space, and the price point's pretty fair. So it's an affordable figure that doesn't have a big footprint. So it's kind of a no-brainer for fans of 84.
Yeah. I want to say one thing. I wish they would make a Defo Real Sea Louse with the guy in the chair that was like the skeleton.
Oh,
that would be so amazing. I love the Sea Louse. I know it's like not really a favorite thing, but just the idea of that creepy little monster is just so awesome.
That thing freaked me out when I first saw that when I was a kid. I was like, what in the world is that? Now, mind you, in the American version, they don't really explain what it is. So you kind of like forget about it once Godzilla makes his appearance down the line. But in the Japanese version, they, dictate, at least say what it is. But that scene alone, not too many Godzilla films can be dark or considered to be scary, but that is like one of the closest ones I can really think of. Maybe besides, I guess, Shin Godzilla, you can throw that in there, the original 54 GMK. But as far as like dark, truly dark films, 84 all the way. I forgot to mention about the Gigantic. If they were to make a Gigantic 84, I'll be all over that. If it were up to me, I think the standard would be just a regular suit, accurate version of the 84. The rig would be the Cybot. I would love to see a Gigantic Cybot at some point. That's what I would like to see. So are we done with the 84? Anybody want to add anything about the 84 before we move on?
Rich had a Sea Louse there that looked awesome.
Had him, but now it went away.
Someone said on the group you had lice.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me just say this. It's because of that review right there is the reason why I'm here today. And I ain't trying to blow smoke up your behind, Rich, but trust me, that review and the whole Jack Daniels thing, that was like, you know what? I'm gonna go after those figures. I'm gonna go after that. You know what I'm saying? After I watched this review of the 84, I was like, you know what? I'm definitely gonna be going for these figures now. And it just grew and grew and grew, like I'm sure everybody else has done with their respective collections. So yeah, I just had to point that out.
Godzilla chooses his beverage of choice wisely.
There you go.
Hey,
all right.
One thing, people are saying that David's volume is a little low, so I just want to give David the opportunity to try to fix it.
They just need to turn their volume up, James Chakowski.
Oh, is that doing it? Okay, all right. I'll just speak louder. I don't have the equipment that these guys have. I'll move a little closer.
You sound great, David.
How's that? Better?
Yeah.
Is that better?
You sound great. I mean, it's still a little bit low, but it's not like you're mute. It's not like we can't hear you. You know what I'm saying? So far, we're fine. All right, let's move on. The first release of the 1965 classic, David's first Godzilla film. I'm talking about Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. And I'm talking about the 65 Godzilla, the 25 centimeter. I'm going Rick. I can't wait for that thing to come. So let's go down the line. Eric, are you getting it?
Yeah, I'm getting it. I just paid for it yesterday. 65. Just paid for it with Tensa. So most likely they won't ship it out until Monday. So, but yeah, it's definite buy for me.
Awesome.
Jeremy, you getting it?
Yes, that is one of the movies I tend to watch the most from the Showa era. So I definitely am getting it, and actually kind of excited for the little figure that's going to be coming with it. So.
You know what? Let me give a huge shout out to Kyle Yount. I don't know if he's watching or not, but I just learned recently he just got married. So Kyle Yount.
Awesome.
This guy, Kyle Yount, is one of the most enthusiastic members in our community. Every time I see him, every time I talk to him, he is happy. He's a strong, positive advocate for the community, and he's just a great guy. I can't say enough great things about him. And the reason why I mention this is because I know that Monster Zero, if not, is his favorite, if not one of his favorite. I know Monster Zero is way, way up there with him, and I want to give you a shout out to him. And say congratulations on getting married, my man. You know, you deserve it. And we love you.
Yeah, congrats, man.
All right, Rich. Well, this is a dumb question, but go ahead and answer anyway.
Yes. I went with the Rick. It's actually on the way. I haven't paid for it yet. I guess I should pay Mike Johnson for it. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It's on its way. I mean, he can come out here and beat me up for the money if he wants, but I guess I'll do the right thing and pay him. But ride his bike. Yeah, I'll jump on a BMX bike and cross country to my ass. I'll be outside waiting with snowballs to throw you at Mike.
I'm gonna get his.
It's a good thing he doesn't watch. It's a good thing he doesn't watch these. Actually, he watched once. Yeah, but I got the Rick coming. I'm very excited for another 25 centimeter lineup to be added. Again, going back to the Rick was the a controller. I don't know. I don't think it's the controller, but it's a Planet X controller person. Awesome that it's another vinyl Rick extra, not a boring light up. So it's good to see X Plus kind of return to form with these extras that we've been getting. So I'm excited for that. I should probably have it Monday or Tuesday. Bam.
So yeah, obviously I'm getting it, and obviously I'm going Rick. It's one of my favorite films, my very first Godzilla film. It is Kyle's favorite Godzilla film, I can tell you that. And congratulations, my friend. Very happy for you both. Just throwing that in there. Yeah, it's. I've seen some early shots of it, and it actually looks like they nailed it for the most part too. You know, usually you see some shots. I mean, I know Rich and I talked about this a little bit earlier. Some of the early shots that we see of these figures aren't exactly the most flattering shots. And I mean, that's not against anybody who's taking them. We appreciate it. But, you know, how many times have all of us seen those shots and said, oh, man, what did I just do? Did I really order this? And then when you see it, it's not half bad. So anyway, these pictures, it looks like it's going to be awesome. The eyes look spectacular. Great movie, long overdue. This is the only other 65 that I have. This is the Billiken, which is a really great rendition, I think. But it'll be nice to have one in the X Plus scale to go with our upcoming King Ghidorah that I'm sure we'll talk about at some point that I'm absolutely stoked for. Yeah, so yes, a resounding yes, I'm getting it, and the Rick.
That figure's pretty rad, by the way, David. That's cool.
What, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's the greatest representation of 65, I think, so far.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I have mine. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think it's the controller, Rich. I think it's just a Planet X Citizen.
Yeah, it's a Citizen. I didn't know what to call them other than
I mean,
others.
It might be, but I think that we'll probably see that maybe come out with maybe this Ghidorah. If they ever do a 65 Ghidorah, which I don't think they should because it's too close to the 64. Maybe
Planet X ship.
Yeah, with the ship and or the controller in the chair would be kind of cool too. You know,
yeah,
in his little gold chair, which would be awesome. But yeah, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, this Billiken is really a great kit. Even though I'm a novice when it comes to kits, of course, David is the man when it comes to kits. He knows all about these guys. I know that Billiken are more so looked upon, I'm guessing here, they're looked upon as like beginners kits. Like if you're trying to get into it, this is a great place to start. Not like, you know, Monster Maker 28 resin and other pieces. But as far as sculpt wise, you know, for a beginner, they really nailed the sculpt on this Billiken right here for the 65. As a matter of fact, when we talk about Ebra in a few seconds, that's why I went the third centimeter. That's why I'm getting the 30 centimeter Emperor so I can pair him with this guy.
Yeah.
You know, at some point we're going to get to 66 in the 30 centimeter at some point, but we'll talk about that once we get to Emperor. But yes, this is a nice kit. Varan, who's getting Varan? I am going Rick for the statue, and I love the crawling Varan. I love him more than the standing version. So yeah, I'm getting him. Eric?
Yeah, it's a definite buy for me. Even though it's the same sculpt as the Kaiju Freaks, I also had a Kaiju Freaks, but it was a model kit. I just don't like the way I painted mine. So, but after I saw the translucent fins on the Varan, I said it was definite buy for me. So, and the statue was a big A+. The statue alone was a big A+. I think it's one of the, I don't want to say one of the biggest Rick Boy items, but I believe it's a good size. I believe it's going to be at least 4.5 inches high. So that's a big A+ for me.
Jeremy, are you getting Varan?
Yes.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yes. I wanted it for the statue, to be honest with you. The statue was the selling point for me. I can't say that I'm a huge Varan fan of the independent film because I've only seen the American version so far.
Oh my God! Don't do that. No, I gotta say this right now. No. That's where you messed up. You need to see the Japanese version. Now, let me get this out the way right now. Varan, the movie, the Japanese version, he may not be up there movie-wise, entertainment-wise, like Rodan or the original Godzilla. I would say the movie's probably not as good as the original Mothra, because all of those films with Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra, they have character development with the monsters themselves. Varan kind of doesn't in a way, but it's like a nice alternative. You want to see some kaiju action that doesn't involve Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra. It's a nice movie to watch. It kind of does drag on like in the middle of the film. And there's a couple of reasons that play into it, but we ain't got to go into it here. But yeah, the American version is terrible. I recommend the Japanese version for 2 reasons. One, the visual effects is really, really good. It's not chopped and butchered like the American version. And Akira Ifukube's music. That is probably one of his most best scores ever. You know what I'm saying? So if you can track down the Japanese version, I highly recommend that. David, don't you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. The score is just and they worked Varan's theme into Ghidra the 3. It becomes one of the battle scenes on Mount Fuji. They use that score tweaked slightly for that last big battle scene between Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mothra. And yeah, I just like Leslie said, it's not super fast moving, but the monster action is great. It's some of Nakajima's best work, I think. He actually got hurt and when Varan comes at the end at the airport, an explosion comes underneath Varan and it actually burned Nakajima in the suit. So yeah, it's the American version is one of the worst one of the best examples of how the U.S. distributors butchered a classic Toho film. The acting, the American actors are horrible. The score is all changed. It's choppy. It's not widescreen. Do yourself a favor. Before you buy another figure, watch every single movie, Japanese widescreen original subtitle version. Then you're going to know, like, watch Matango, watch Varan, watch, all these movies, because
damaging.
I never understood that about some of these young collectors, that some people buy figures and they've never even seen the films. Because for me, I'm an old guy, I'm in my 50s. All of this collecting started for me with the films. It's the alpha and the omega, the movies, my love for the movies. So I just can't imagine buying a figure of a film that I've never seen, because like if the film sucks, I don't buy it. Like I don't have anything from Final Wars. I have nothing from Final Wars.
Yeah.
And I just think that do yourself a favor. You know, you're a pillar of the community now. Educate yourself. Watch these movies, man. I'm telling you. That was just a little side public service announcement, and not just you. I'm not calling you out. Many people in this collecting world are in the same boat. It's like, yeah, that thing's cool. Yeah, what's that from? Oh, I bought it. I spent $300 on it, but I never watched the movie. I just don't get that. But I don't have to get that. It's up to you guys. But anyway, I'm gonna be quiet now.
No, that's a fair statement.
Yeah.
I did, and you're probably gonna hate me for this, enjoy the Ron for the design of it, but it wasn't my favorite movie ever. But that statue is what I really enjoyed from that film. So
yeah,
that's why I got that one.
The statue is why I'm getting the figure. It's my turn. Yeah, I mean, I think we skip Rich, but yeah, absolutely, 100%. That Baradagi statue is one of the reasons the reason I'm getting that figure.
No, I'm excited to see the Japanese version if I can find it.
Oh, it's easy to find. I'll send you a copy.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Rich, are you getting Varan or are you going to pass on him?
As we stated earlier, I did pass on this. The quick version is as I dig the 25 centimeter crawling. I have one, and again, this is where they're trying to be selective, trying to be smart about my vinyl intake and my funding output come into play. So I passed on it. What?
You know what? That's something that I want to go into for a few seconds before we go into future releases. Because Jeremy has not seen the Japanese version yet. But I'm sure a lot of us have seen pretty much all these movies. I mean, there are a couple that I haven't seen yet. Maybe a couple that maybe Eric hasn't seen, or Rich hasn't seen, or David hasn't seen. But let's if you can, we ain't got to go into a lot of detail about it, but let's name or recommend a movie, whether you've seen it or not, to our fellow co-hosts. And I'm just going to do two. The movies I recommend, if you have not seen them yet, please do. I highly recommend them. Is Gorgo and the Damagen trilogy. I highly recommend you go and watch those films. It took me a while to get to Damagen. I've seen Gorgo early on, when I was a kid. I got my hands on a Blu-ray copy recently, and it really is a good film. So I highly recommend it. If you're not seeing Gorgo or the Damagen films, check those films out. Eric?
I'll pass, man. I'll pass on that question because if you're a Godzilla fan, just in general, anything kaiju, should be on your list. So it's kind of hard. I just can't come up with the idea right away. So I mean, but
hey, I'll help you. I'll help you out.
You know what, though, Leslie? You know what? You was kind of last on that boat when it comes to Damagen. I've been telling you about Damagen for the freaking longest, dude, and you know that.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Because I was having my eye on the Damagen figure, the 30 centimeter version that came out, I guess, 2 years ago.
Going back to what Dave said.
Yeah.
You didn't see. I mean, I don't know if you bought the figure first or
no.
The film.
No, I didn't. I wanted to see the film first before I invest in the figure. That's one of the reasons why I haven't got anything from Anime Godzilla yet. I haven't seen the movie yet. Okay. And before I invest anything into a collectible, I want to see what am I investing into. Because I don't want to be one of these figure collectors that buy something for like this month, wondering why in the world did I buy it, and then turn around and try and sell it like a month later. By doing it that way, you're really wasting your money, and I don't want to do that. So I want to at least do my research on what I'm getting myself into. But if you're having trouble recommending like a film, like I know Jeremy is not really a big Gamera fan. He hasn't really got into the Showa Gamera films yet. So if you could recommend a Showa Gamera film, what that would be?
I would recommend at least Gamera versus I don't know. This is my opinion. Gamera versus Giron. So, I like that. I like Gamera versus Giron because it's really a three-hitter. you got Giron, and you got everybody's favorite Gauss. So, but I put myself in the same category as Mr. Dopko. Okay, I'm kind of old school, so you know it's kind of hard. You know, I'm quite sure besides Dave, I'm the next oldest out of this group. So with me, you know, it's kind of hard to relate to the, you know, to the newcomers. But I recommend just trying to get your hands on anything that's kaiju related and just watch it. Even if you think it's not a good film, just kind of like you know, give it a chance. You know.
Good point.
Huh?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Did we lose Rich?
Yeah.
Now Rich right there, he changed his clothes.
Oh, he changed.
I just put a sweater on. That's all.
Oh, okay.
So what do you recommend?
So I'm up.
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely the Daimajin trilogy. I'm going to say that is just one trilogy. It's a whole story as a whole. A definite must see. It blew my mind when I first watched it. David, because I know we're overly familiar. Paul is the one who recommended me to watch it, and I'll never forget the first time I put the DVD in, and the menu came up, and I lost my shit because I'm like, hold a minute, that's a Fukabe's music, and I'm texting Paul like, wait a minute, a Fukabe scored these? I'm like, I only thought he worked with Toho. Whoa, mind blown.
Work.
You know, so that was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. I love the first one. It really attached to me in a very, very good way. Just enjoyed the hell out of it. So the Daimajin trilogy, and my favorite, absolute favorite non-Godzilla movie from Toho, Frankenstein Conquers the World, is a well-written, it's a very well-written movie, very well acted, very well executed, produced, everything. It is. So if you watch Frankenstein Conquers the World and you don't enjoy it, smack yourself. And I'll leave it at that. So those are mine.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Jeremy, what about you?
I would say the original Rodan. To me, that is a good non-Godzilla film.
It's probably the best non-Godzilla film. I agree.
Yeah, I would have to say that's probably one of the ones. If you haven't watched something that's not Godzilla related, I would say it's that. I typically don't watch a lot of television, so this is probably going to take me years till I get to see all these films, but I guess I can spread it out. I say that one other Toho film that I'll pass on a suggestion is the I think it's called Prophecies of Notre Dame. I want to see that thing so badly, but I know.
See, I've never even seen that one. That's not really kaiju, but I want to see that one too. I've not seen that one.
Yeah, I was saying non-kaiju Toho film. That'd be one that I would suggest, Jim.
Has anyone seen that here? Prophecies of Nostradamus?
No.
It's just so weird.
It's obscure. It's pretty obscure. Yeah. But all right, I'm gonna talk to the younger people, because I didn't mean to sound like you got to see these movies, but I think if you want to learn and know what you're buying, and it's just going to enhance your experience more. So I'm going to give you 4 things. I'm going to give you, and I agree with Rich. Frankenstein Conquers the World is probably my favorite Toho science fiction film. It's written well, and we could even go further and include War of the Gargantuans, because it's in Japan. It's a direct sequel to that film. I'm going to also say, of course, the Daimajin trilogy, which is, even if you're not a kaiju fan, there's so much about like samurai and feudal Japan. It's enough to hold your interest until you see the monster, which I have to say isn't in the film a lot, but when he comes, every second is awesome. And so many people have never seen Ultraman, the original Ultra Q and Ultraman. Now, I'm telling you this because basically the same team that did the Godzilla films, Tsuburaya, and his special effects team did the Ultraman series. So you're going to see a lot of crossover in like the roars of the monsters, just the sets and the sound effects. They're all, you know, when I was a little kid, I used to watch Ultraman. I'm like, hey, this sounds like a Godzilla movie. And it's like, well, because it's the same special effects team. And even the Science Patrol's phone ring is the sound of King Ghidorah. So when their phone rings, you hear King Ghidorah. So anyway, Ultraman, Damajin Trilogy, Frankenstein Conquers the World, and War of the Gargantuas for non-Godzilla films. And I'm going to give you a Gamera too. My favorite Gamera film is actually Gamera versus Barugon, because that one doesn't have annoying children in it. There's not one child in Gamera versus Barugon. And it's a pretty dark movie too, as far as Gamera goes. And it might be a little bit slow for some people, but it's a great monster on monster action. So yeah, go get some movies and watch them, guys.
Absolutely. And actually, you know what? I am paying attention to the chat, and actually, y'all are doing a great job of entertaining yourselves. Y'all sound like a WWE wrestling crowd that if you're not getting entertainment in the ring, you're going to entertain yourselves. With that being said, if you have any questions for myself, Derek, or Jeremy, please post them now, because we're going to be on the show for the next 40 minutes. I'm gonna cut the show down at 8 o'clock. I know it's Saturday, and I ain't trying to keep these guys longer than when I have to, even though we're having a great time. So with that being said, let's move on to future releases, and we can kind of like skim through them as much as we can, and then towards the tail end we'll go into the 62 versus 64 conversation just a little bit. But I'm just gonna round. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm just gonna round off like the stuff that we know that is coming for sure, and just say if you're gonna get it or not get it or whatever, if you're thinking about it or whatever. The Gigantic 89, I'm getting it. The new King Ghidorah that's announced this week, I'm getting it. The new Iris, I'm getting. Ebera, I'm getting it because he wants somebody to play with. And the favorite sculpt
25 centimeters. That pelican.
30.
Yeah.
Shutting off.
Yeah, the Ebera is going to be 30 centimeters, so this should actually work with him, but we shall see. And of course, the favorite sculptors line 64. Do I have to really answer that question? So those are the ones that I'm definitely getting. So Eric, Gigantic 89, Iris, favorite sculptors line 64, Ebera, the new King Ghidorah, and you might as well throw Fyro in and the Flying King Ghidorah. Oh, as well as the 67 that's coming out. What are you getting? Go for it, dude.
Everything, man. Shit.
Everything.
Hell yeah. Man, you know what? I'm just so overwhelmed because there's so much stuff that I've been looking forward to over the years, especially the 67, man. God damn, that's gonna be a winner with me. The 67 with 2 minions, man, I had to rip that all the way, bro. So but everything else, I'm excited for it, man. Even though I'm a big Showa fan, Showa is number one, but I'm excited for to see some Millennium monsters like the Fire Rodan, some other things. I can't name them like how you named them. I mean, it's like a blur to me, but so far I'm on board with everything, man. And I'm just but the two things I'm mostly looking forward to, and Rich, I saw you talking to Leslie on you guys' last live, on Leslie's last live. Man, come on, Rich. You got to do a what is that? The 74 or 75 Gigantic? Which one is it?
Oh, the Mechagodzilla.
Yes, man. You a big Showa fan, man.
I am, but okay, I don't know where it is. My collections, I hate my collection because I don't know where anything is anymore. Mm-hmm. No. The 25 centimeter secret base, not so secret base Mechagodzilla. The Gigantic Mechagodzilla 74, I'm going to be blunt. It looks boring as shit, just the way it is posed. His arms are just down to the side. Make him look attacking. Maybe the Rick, honestly, if they make the Rick version with an arm up and a hand straight out and the other arm up and the hand's crooked, you know, like he's ready to shoot missiles, then I'd spring for it. But it's just that underground pose, it just looks so bland. And that's why the 25 centimeter is in the back of the bottom shelf, kind of out of sight, because it's just meh. You know, I want to believe me when I say this, because everybody out there that's watching it and knows me, I'm a mark for X Plus. Duh. I want to love every X Plus, but that is just not realistic because, you know, as we know, we all have figures in our collection that just don't really hit that wow level like we would want to, you know, for the money we're spending. And that gigantic Mechagodzilla is just not, it's just not cutting the cake for me.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess I'm done, Leslie. I hope I didn't go off topic, but ever since they kind of like gave us a snippet of that with the Gigan and the Mecha G, I kind of like, you know, those are just two things, man. Those are just favorites, man. And you know, so I'll stop right there. I don't want to keep blabbing, but hopefully we'll get it. But like we said, it may be over a 2-year span period. With the way things are going, because we know the 89 is coming. Most likely, that's coming out pretty soon. Probably like the beginning of the year, delivering probably for March. But otherwise, the other two Gigantics that were kind of like teased at us, I don't know. So I'll just leave it at that. But I'm just hoping that they do villains. If they do villains, I'm totally on board, and I don't have no more room for Gigantics. But if I got to put them on the floor, hell, them fuckers going on the floor. Excuse my friend. They going on the floor, man.
I love that. I love that. Me too, man.
So, but that's it. I'm done.
All right, Jeremy. What are you getting? Gigantic 89, Gamera 99, Iris, the Favorite Sculptors Line 64, blah, blah, blah. Are you getting pretty much everything, or is there anything on that list that you're not getting? Go for it.
Well, I'm going to skip Iris. I'm going to skip the Gamera. I'm going to skip the Ebra because I already have one. I'm on the fence about the 64, like you said earlier. I do like the 74 Gigantic Mechagodzilla. I'm definitely going to get that. I'm looking forward to that. The 89, I haven't really decided. The Gigantic 89, I like Godzilla at 1989, but the Gigantic hasn't really wowed me quite yet, so we'll see about that. And I think that's it that I can think of off the top of my head.
That's a lot.
Rich, your turn, bro.
All right. I will say I'm gonna wrap up this question, then I gotta scoot off. I do have some other engagements going on. My buddy Brendan here, Dancing with the Stars. Well, you said it before, WWE. So yeah, we're gonna go watch some WWE pay-per-view. But so what do I have coming? So right now I got the 65 on the way in the mail. I'm picking up the Rick 30 centimeter 67 with the two Minyas. My mom is probably not watching this, so I'm going to gift her one of my 30 centimeter Minyas for Christmas because I don't need two of them, and she loves the little freak, so spread the love. I'm really digging the whole hatchling Minya, so that's awesome. I'm really excited for that. He really is just too damn cute, not for nothing. So 30 centimeter Rick 67, 30 centimeter Rodan, which I'm more of a fan of what they did with it because he's flying, and this is like knock knock X Plus. Give me like a 65 flying Rodan. You know, let's jump into that arena a little bit. I think that would be really, really cool. Or a 56 Rodan. I think that would be even awesomer flying for him. So 30 centimeter Rodan. What else is coming out? Definitely going to pick up the new King Ghidorah, the 64. Absolutely, because Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster is my second favorite Godzilla movie. Gonna pick up the Gigantic 89. I'm gonna say it right now. As of right now, I'm gonna skip the Gigantic Mechagodzilla 74. Everybody's breaking my balls in the chat about it. What else is coming out? I don't even know. I'm having a brain fart. Ebra. I'm gonna go with the Ebra because I said this like a long time ago. Like they should release Ebra if they reissued a 25 centimeter with like a rock or a water base. And sure as shit, here he comes at 30 centimeter scale with a water base. So I'm definitely gonna go Rick on that. Going to get the 30 centimeter Faber Sculptors line 64. I am leaning towards standard because if it's white dorsal plates, don't need white dorsal plates. If they came out and said straight up they're going to be blue like my buddy over here, then I'd be getting the Rick. But now that I say that, I probably should just gamble it and go Rick. They'll be white. I'll be doing my review. They'll burn out. And I'm like, should have went standard. That's what happens. But so I got to decide on that. I got about a week to decide on that. Skipping the Gamera 90. What is it? The Gamera 99 25 centimeter. I'm undecided about Iris, whatever we're calling him. Probably should just get it because I already have a 25 centimeter Legion, which is a beautiful figure. I don't need the Gamera. I already hit the 30 centimeter Gamera 99. Is beautiful as it is. I don't need a 25 centimeter one, so this is where I'll be being choosy about certain releases, especially the Gamera stuff. I like the Heisei Gamera films, but I am not hardcore about them. What am I missing? What else is coming out?
We didn't mention this, the Flying Ghidra reissue. I've not heard anyone talk about that thing.
Oh yeah,
No,
I'm getting that.
But
I'm
that's
getting
what I thought you were talking about, Leslie. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut everybody off, but I thought you're not talking about the one that the so-called 30 centimeter one that they just showed at the last show they had.
No, the one that just got showed was a 64. That's coming in, unfortunately, the same month as the Gigantic 89. Unfortunately, the Flying King Ghidra that Jeremy just talked about. The Flying King Ghidra is the one from Destroy All Monsters that has the Mount Fuji backdrop. You know, and I'm getting that.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we'll see how that is going to go because I'm looking forward to it. Like I mentioned on last live stream with Rich, I know he has to go, but I think because we all got the King Ghidra, right, and we know he's got some weight to him. I think to pull this off, they're gonna have to make him hollow to be sustainable on whatever they're gonna have on him to be in flight. But that's just my opinion. What's up, Rich?
Actually, the way that the new one is sculpted, he's standing more upright. So that should help immensely with the balancing of that figure with the wings. So he's standing more straight up rather than where the 68, he does have a little bit of a hunch forward with his upper chest area. Anyway, so yeah. All right, I gotta sign off. I'm gonna go watch some wrestling. Men in Speedos beat on each other with body oil and all that fun stuff.
I'm in.
David, I was like, come over.
I'm
Just beam over.
That.
David,
I know.
anytime.
Okay.
Just anytime.
So as I'm signing off, thank you for having me on again, Leslie. I just a small plug. I'm gonna try to do a Fresh Vinyl Live next weekend. It's gonna be kind of impromptu because it's the weekend that Takarada is coming out here for the New England Northeast Comic Con, whatever they're calling it. So I don't know what time we're shooting for Saturday night. It could be late. Just stay tuned. You guys, if anybody wants to come on from the crew here and the normal Fresh Vinyl crew, I'll keep you informed. Until then, I'll see you next time.
All right, Rich. Be easy, bro.
Cheers.
Have a good night, guys.
Goodbye, Richard.
Bye.
Bam.
All right, David.
All right.
What do you get, my friend? 89, whatever. The floor is yours.
So let's see. I'm going to unfortunately skip on the 89 because if I'm going to shell out, that's going to be a big guy. That box is going to be huge. It's going to be like the Shin box. So it's going to be a pretty expensive figure, and I have no space for him. And the sculpt isn't, I'm not in love with the sculpt at this point. So at this point, I'm going to pass. I'm also going to pass on the gigantic Mechagodzilla 2 for the same reasons of the 89. I am absolutely completely stoked for the 64 King Ghidra. That looks incredibly awesome. Do any of you guys know what the Rick is going to be with that? Do we know? Have they announced that yet?
I don't think so, but
Not
hopefully
yet.
spaceship.
Yeah,
Not yet.
That
Not yet.
So I'm going to forego a lot of these other figures and concentrate on that guy. But I am, of course, Ibira is definitely coming. I'm still, I haven't ordered it yet, but I'm still debating over the Rick versus the standard, because I don't know how often I'm going to use the water base. But on the other hand, the water base takes up less of a footprint. So maybe that is my better option. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah? Smaller footprint? What else? What else is coming out? Help me out, guys. I can't.
There's so much. 67. The Godzilla.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go standard on the 67 because I've got a bunch of Minas, and I actually have a small crawling hatchling Mina from a model kit. Here, let me see if I can.
Oh, cool.
So I already have him. So he's right here. See him? Can you see it? Where's my damn?
We can't see him.
Can you see him?
There he is.
That's cool.
So it's pretty similar to the one that comes with the Rick. So I'm going to go standard on the 67. I'm not in love with that bottom jaw. It looks a little bit off. I think, Leslie, you and I talked about this online. It's an easy fix if it really looks that way. But if it's not, who knows? That's just a prototype. Maybe they'll fix that in the production. But yeah, the 30 centimeter standard 67, the Ibira in some form, the King Ghidorah. What else? The favorite sculptor 64. I actually had that figure as a model kit, as a Paradise model kit that I built and painted about 15 years ago.
Dang.
And, I always thought the sculpt was a little bit loose, so I sold it about 10 years ago. But it looks like they've improved on it a little bit. So I'm on the fence, leaning more towards no than yes. So I'm not sure about that one. And what was the last one?
Oh, there's the ST figures, right? Like the 50 or 64 with the little Mothra and stuff.
No, I'm gonna pass on that too. I've got so many 64 figures, and I'm being really selective with my D4 reel. So I'm passing on that. I'm passing on the flying Rodan, the Heisei flying Rodan. I think I mentioned that before.
I think it's crazy that we can't all remember what is coming out.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I cannot remember, but basically, I like I said, and we all talked about this in the beginning of the show. I really have to be extremely selective because I do not have space, and honestly, I don't know what I can get rid of at this point. I can't part with anything that I can see right off the bat, so I'm going to have to do some really hard soul searching and see how I can make some room for these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think it's a healthy way to go about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, your collection already looks like in the short time that you've been collecting, it's like surpassed like that. That's gigantic. That looks so amazing across that whole wall, and I'm only seeing a portion of it.
Yeah.
And that's mostly X Plus, right?
Yeah, mainly.
And Leslie, you're all X Plus, right? You don't do any of the other stuff, do you?
Well, I do. I happen to have a few model kit
you do model
here and there.
Yeah,
but mostly yes. From here on forward, I'm a strictly an X Plus guy. Nothing against model kits, but since X Plus is basically getting around to doing almost every monster out there conceivable, I really see no need to go after any model kits, especially except for like the special ones. Like Kong is like really the only monster or kaiju out there that I really would love to have in more model kit.
Get one of the ones that Steve is selling. One of the Roto Kaiju ones, and I'd be happy to pick it up for you.
And he'll do a good job too.
I mean,
that's the thing.
I did about 6 of them, so I'd be happy. And I got one more in the wings too. So.
Oh yeah, and I would definitely like to get one, but the only problem is my money is basically booked from here all the way up until.
No, I understand.
The stuff coming out. You know what I'm saying? So, and to answer Liam Foley's question about the price of the gigantic 89, if I had to guess, between $450 and $500 shipped.
Easy.
I'm just guessing on that. As long as it's not as expensive as Shin, which I don't think it will be, but like the Burner Godzilla, the gigantic Burner Godzilla, that cost me like $450, $465 shipped. So I don't see the 89 being any different from that. So I would say between $450 and $500 shipped. I think just for the standard. It just depends on what the Rick is going to be.
Yeah,
but
it's definitely. I mean, people should really be in love with these gigantic figures if they're going to shell out, $5 for it. You know what I mean? And that's why I was so bummed about the 64 at first. But again, like I see that thing with new eyes. Like I love it now, and I'm so happy.
Happy accident, right, David?
You guys talked me into not selling it, and I really appreciate that. So, I mean, I was this close. I was trying to find the box, and I'm like, no, I'm so glad that I didn't do it. But
well, good. We got like 20 more minutes to go, and then we're gonna sign off here. But now let's go.
Hey, Leslie, I've got commitments to my family. So
okay.
One more question for me, and I've got to jump off.
Okay. As a matter of fact, you know what? This is like we're gonna go into the team 64 and 62 type of question. I know you're a 62 fan, so you know what? Hey, David, do me a favor. Grab that 64 30 centimeter behind you and put it to the screen for me, please.
Which one?
The 30 centimeter Rick.
This one, the favorite sculptor?
No, the 64.
Oh, hi.
Although that 62 is rad, I freaking love that thing.
All right, and this is for everybody here on the stream as well as on the chat. Which team are you on? Which one is the better figure, the better Vic figure? The 30 centimeter 64 that David has, or this guy, the original 30 centimeter 62? Eric, you can go first, and then Jeremy, and then David. Go for it.
30. You said what did you say again? You said 30 centimeter.
Which one is the better 30 centimeter figure? The 64 that David has, with the blue, or this guy right here?
Oh wait,
all right, hold on, because I'm kind of confused.
Are we going piece by piece, or are we going just in general? Which suit do we like better?
Just random topics about each suit.
Gotcha.
Now the topic for this, like the 30 centimeter figure itself, which one is the better 30 centimeter Rick figure? The Rick 62 or the Rick 64?
Oh, definitely the Rick 64, the one with the light up, the closed mouth.
Yes, Eric. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean I got it, but I can't get it. It's on the top out. It's way up there.
Okay, Jeremy.
Hey,
which one? All right, the 62. I kind of figured that because I know that you love the 62, but go ahead and handle your business, man. Tell your wife and Gavin that we said hello. Thank you so much for being a part of this discussion. Yeah. We got to do it again. And we'll be in touch, bro.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on.
Good night.
Take care of every one of you guys, okay? Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, man. Okay, it's just us three now. Now, the next topic. Now, we have to be honest here, okay? Be honest. I know that we're all 64 fans to a certain extent, but we got to be honest here, and this goes to people in the chat too. Just speak out, your answers. Between the 62 and 64, which one had the better first appearance scene? The 62 breaking out the iceberg, or the 64 coming out of the ground? Which one? I'm gonna go first. I gotta go with the 64 on that one. Eric,
I'm gonna say the 62. I'm gonna say the 62, and can I get my reason?
Yes, of course.
Okay, the reason is because you really have to listen to the Raw. The Raw, I think, was awesome. I don't know if you guys remember exactly, but don't take my word for it. I want you to go back and listen and watch the film and listen to the Raw. It was such a eerie type of Raw once he broke out of the iceberg that I don't think I even heard it anymore throughout the whole movie. But for me, it was the 64.
You mean the 62?
Yeah, 62. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
The beer starting to get to me. Sorry about that.
I am completely torn because let me give you my reasoning. The 62, this is the first time that Godzilla had that roar ever on film. He had a different roar in 55. Is that what you're saying, Eric?
Yeah, sort of.
Because we never, in the first two films, in the 54 and the 55 films, Godzilla's roar was very different.
Yeah.
And when he burst out of that iceberg, that's the first time that we heard that iconic roar that went all the way through 1975. Okay. So that in itself is pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, it was a tiny bit anticlimactic because we already knew that something was up because we heard his roar in the submarine, right? We heard a little bit in the submarine. So the element of surprise, we knew Godzilla was coming out of that iceberg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now remember when you first saw Mothra versus Godzilla, right? The ground is moving, the tail comes up. You don't know what's happening. You don't know that Godzilla. Honestly, when I first saw that, I thought the tail was a Mothra. I like, what is that? Like, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
And it's like what? And then he just kind of burst out of the sand. So I'm gonna have to cop out and say it's a tie. It's a virtual tie for me because they're two of the best appearances in any film in Toho's golden age, which both of those films fall into, in my opinion. Yeah. I think that they're in my world, they're equally as impactful. Although I have to say, I really do love the 64 just a teeny bit better. But yeah, I mean, do you understand what I'm saying with my reasoning? Yeah.
I totally understand. I'm just glad you said it that way because I didn't want to feel like the only one that's left.
No, I knew that's what you're going for, and honestly, 62 is the first time we see Godzilla look that way. We never saw him look big, massive, and imposing reptilian. And he had that updated roar, which, like I said, stuck with the series until 75.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, but Leslie, I am a huge. If I had to choose one movie to watch, like if I can only watch one Godzilla movie for the rest of my life, it would have to be Mothra versus Godzilla. I have to say that. So.
And I agree with you about what you said about Godzilla's appearance in Mothra versus Godzilla, because in King Kong versus Godzilla, you kind of knew what was up with the iceberg. You kind of knew because of the film titled King Kong versus Godzilla, you knew King Kong wasn't in the iceberg. So they kind of like foreshadowed that Godzilla was going to be popping out. But in Mothra versus Godzilla, up until Godzilla's appearance, Godzilla is not even mentioned. He's not even involved in the story. So when he pops up, it comes out of nowhere, which is even more shocking. That's why I like his appearance better in 64, because it comes shocking. It's more of a shocker when he appears. So
and
plus
it's like what you were saying before. It's like in King Kong versus Godzilla, you knew he was coming out of that iceberg because in the last film he got covered in ice. So okay, here's ice. The last time we saw him, he was in ice, right? So he's going to bust out of this ice. We didn't, like you said, that typhoon brought all that. We didn't know what was under that mud, and it was just so you feel that when the audience feels it, like you're like, wait a minute, what is that? And the thing.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
And Godzilla, I think, besides 54, Godzilla has never been so evil and so much of a villain as he was in 64. I wouldn't even say he's a force of nature. I say he's pretty damn evil. Like he's like, he wants to get everybody. Like he's not just stomping around. I mean, he is to a degree, but the Godzilla in King Kong versus Godzilla was a bit comical. I mean, the film is a satire. It's supposed to be anyway. So Godzilla had some scary moments, but there was also moments of lightness too. So for just the sheer impact of being afraid of the monster, I think the 64 is definitely always going to beat it for me for that reason too. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it does make sense.
Can I add though?
Go ahead.
In my opinion, I could truly say that the 62, the fight scene was better, but the 64 film was more, it kept me more enthused because of not just the monsters, but the characters, like Kumiyawa, whatever I don't know his name, Kumiyawa.
Yeah.
I mean, he was hilarious, man. He was hilarious, like when he blew smoke into the camera and just, I mean, throughout the whole movie, I mean, he had me laughing, like when like I guess when Godzilla was coming and he the guy that was in charge that was over him owed them money and they was fighting back and forth. I thought that was hilarious. So
Yeah.
overall, it was a better film that I can truly say. Yeah, 64 was a better film, but the fighting scene, I'm gonna go with King Kong versus Godzilla.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that people like Leslie and I, and you, Eric, too, we respond to, and many, many other fans out there, I'm sure the chat group can agree, the 64 film is the magnum opus of Toho's golden era of science fiction film. Everything came together. The music, Akira Ifukube has his best score. The special effects were super awesome. The acting talent was great. And just every element of that film just sort of clicked. And that's why it holds up to this day. And it is definitely a fan favorite of many people. And like even Keith, who isn't really into it, he loves it because he loves Mothra. And, you have a very obvious villain versus a very obvious, good character, good and evil. It's the classic battle between good and evil. And, again, it's just brilliant. And I can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. So we all on board when it comes to the 64. I know I am.
Yeah.
I'm a Showa fan all the way. So, I totally agree. Totally.
Yeah. Since we kind of like, since you kind of went into it, and that was going to be like the next question, like as far as the better fight scene, I think we can agree that King Kong versus Godzilla had the better fight scene, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll agree with that.
And so that was like one of the last questions. But the last question involved 64 and 62. And then we're going to sign off, folks. And thank y'all so much for being a part of this discussion. Rich, Jeremy, also John, who couldn't make it. Y'all have been really, really good people, cool people. And I can always count on y'all when I need something done or a project. Y'all have always been behind me 100%. And I can't thank y'all enough. David, Eric, everybody, especially people in the chat, y'all have been so supportive. And I thank y'all so much for doing this. But the last question. The better X Plus gigantic, the 64 or the 62?
Go ahead, Eric. You go first.
I'm gonna say definitely the 64, but it gotta be the Rick. Definitely gotta be the Rick, because I didn't do what you did, Leslie. I didn't seal my mouth completely to the point of no return, but luckily, I guess out of everybody else that got the 64, I was one of the ones that is pretty much closed mouth. But I'm going to say definitely the 64. The 64, I'm looking at it now, it's awesome. It's awesome. So there you have it.
All right, David.
Well,
go ahead, bro.
This is an easy one for me, and I think you know this, and some of the people who are listening probably know this too. When a few of us went to Japan in 2015, we got to go to X Plus HQ in Osaka, which in itself was like I still am so grateful and humble that actually happened to us. But anyway, while we were there, we were ushered into this room where they were actually finishing touches on the sculpting of the gigantic 62. So just for that reason, that it reminds me of the trip. We saw it being made. We saw the creative process. Mm-hmm. There's no way that I can ever say anything can top that for me. Just because of that. But you all know, we talked about it in the beginning, how I was pretty disappointed initially in the 64. I thought the proportions were maybe a little bit off. I thought the hands were a little bit too small and the legs were a little short, but it all boiled down to the way the mouth looked, really. And I did get the Rick version because I wanted the closed mouth. And then I was one of the people that my Rick, the mouth wasn't closed hardly at all. It was pretty open. So I was a little bit bummed about that. I was a lot of bit bummed about that, let's be honest. So as you know, I was like trying to see if I wanted to sell it or not. And then finally I said one day, I think it was after I went back and I rewatched some of you guys who had done the modifications. Leslie, you did it too on the closed mouth. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it. And I did it, and I was super, super happy with the results. And it now became one of my favorite figures in my collection. But I still have to go. The 62, for reasons I just mentioned, sort of edges it out for me. But there's that.
Okay.
And that right there is
How
the
about
show.
you? Wait, how about you? Although we already know the answer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the 64.
I know.
You know that. The
That's
64
all-
is a no-brainer. Everybody knows the 64. Yes, I know it has its issues, it has its problems, but I still am with this guy through and through. My favorite figure acquisition of this year. Yes, it could have been a little bit better. Yes, it could have been, not too imperfect, but I love it. So, far as gigantic, as a matter of fact, I rank my gigantics now, all of them.
Do it.
64 will be number 1. Burning Godzilla would be number 2. 62 would be number 3. GMK would be number 4. Shannon would be number 5. 54 would be number 6. And the 2000 would be number 7. And
I don't even know if that one really counts because it's not really. It's sort of like a weird scale, I love it, but is it?
Yeah, I mean, but technically, it may not be as big as the other ones, but he does make up for it with his detail and stuff like that. So, and I had to put him in there, but he's like my least favorite because of his lack of size with the rest of them. Now, where he falls in once the 89 comes remains to be seen. But once again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank y'all so much for being a part of this discussion. Once again, there are lots of stuff coming. Lots of stuff that we have to save up money for. But I think I speak on behalf of my friends, David, Eric, everybody, Jeremy, Rich, and everybody. Be smarter. Don't forget, we're in this thing because we want to have fun. We're not in this thing because we're trying to have more than the next guy or poke fun at people because they don't have as much as we do. It's not about that. It's about having fun. And if you can't afford something, so what? Just take that loss and maybe you can try and recapture it on the backhand side, which is something I think is missing nowadays with collecting, the thrill of the hunt. Because there have been a lot of folks.
All right, Leslie, you're next. Show. Let's talk about the thrill of the hunt and how that aspect has gone out of the collecting.
Actually, you know what? We can definitely talk about that. As a matter of fact, the next show will be and I want Vince Elliott, if he's watching, I want him to be a part of this.
Oh, I love Vince. Vince.
Yeah. It's going to be a discussion devoted to Toho versus Daiei. Because all of us, we got Toho figures, we got Gamera Daiei figures. So we're going to have a discussion
on that one. We got to get Eric.
Yeah, Eric Henry. Yes. So we're going to have that discussion. And we're going to definitely dive into what I just mentioned about the thrill of the hunt. Once again, I think that's gone. The thrill of missing out on something, but yet putting the work in on the backhand side and getting stuff later on. Because I always say it's not a question of if you get something in this hobby, it's a question of when. Sometimes you just have to put the work in.
That's right.
So with that being said, David, Eric, thank y'all so much for being a part of this. Richard, Jeremy, thank y'all so much for being a part of this. We will definitely do it again. Y'all have any parting words that y'all want to say before we roll out of here?
Just as always, I'm humbled and honored to be, invited to do these shows. And it's just, I'm passionate about it. And I just love chatting with you guys. I could do it. I could have done this show for another 2 hours, to be honest.
Yep.
All right.
We're done.
So we are out of here. So thank y'all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see y'all again on next Figure Move review. Oh, also my next review will be this guy, the 12-inch deluxe version of Kong from Skull Island. So hopefully I'll have this done by tomorrow. It'll be uploaded before the weekend comes out. Then after that, probably definitely I got to review this guy, and definitely the 65 and Varan. So expect all those reviews coming, but in the near future, expect by tomorrow or Monday, this guy, and y'all be in hog heaven once you get it. Okay, you butterfinger freaker, you. All right, that's it. We out of here. Thank y'all so much.
Bye, guys.
All right, David. Take it easy, David.
Eric, always a pleasure, man.
All right. You take it easy, man. We'll see you again.
Are you on still? Are we still here?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that was great. Did you like it?
Yeah. Yep.
Fun.
Dave, you're real low. I can't hear you now.
Are we still on, or we're done, right?
Yeah.
We're still on. Let me just say bye to everybody one more time. Thank y'all so much for watching. Appreciate it. And once again, I'll see you all again in my next figure movie review. All right, y'all take it easy.